to the final segment. This is segment 6. This is the final one. This is the conclusion. This is where I bring all those pieces together and try to put them in a way that makes sense for me to express them to you in order for whoever's listening to just get a different point of view, to just be open to another possibility, another way to exist with the beliefs that you hold within yourself. But first, let's recap over all the other segments. Don't groan. It's sometimes this is like the TLDR, the too long didn't read type version, to really summarize what they're all about. So the original video, the origin, was all about creation of this and how putting this together to pull all those pieces out. And like with anything I do or say, it's all part of me saying and doing things so that I can piece it together. Part of my very heavy logical being likes to know how to put those pieces together, likes to know, even if they're chaotic, unordered, make no sense, there is a way that I can piece them together. We can do this with anything. We can do this with everything in our life and anything that we believe in and everything else that goes on around us. So the whole idea behind creating this was to give me a chance to really solidify and lock into those key pieces that I hold the most truth in. And whilst I call it my foundation, there's still foundational pieces that build the base, the structure of my being. But they're also there to grow on, to expand on, to join to other things, to detach and attach, and not to be something solid and locked in and concrete and saying that's all there is. Because the more and more I learn, the more and more I do, the more and more I understand about myself, and how I see this existence is the constant expansion, the constant growth, and everything's changing. But having some of those key foundational pieces is where we can build on, where we can grow from. So the first segment was all about grief, ascension, and undoing, because this is where my journey really catapulted, was through the loss of my husband and understanding grief, understanding loss, understanding so much more about the emotions, the impact, the journey, relationships, and at the same time also learning about ascension and what people, or what the collective believes and shares out there in our community and into our awareness of moving from this 3D to 5D, of becoming these different beings, of moving from one way existing from this old earth to this new earth, however you want to view it, coupled with the undoing. Because with both of those processes, it was where I had to really sort of look at everything that I was holding on to. What was I believing? What was I using as part of my life structure to express or to be the person I was outside in this real world? Where were places that I could let go of? Where were actions I was taking that I didn't like? Where were thoughts or feelings I was having that I didn't enjoy? And it was through the process of those three things which gave me the real feelings and the real, what would seem as the hardest and the most difficult part of feeling those emotions and moving through those things and finding more about myself. That's where it all started. That's where it catapulted into this direction. Segment 2 was all about the in-out, the one particle, and the EVF, which is where through that journey, through those three things I was speaking about from segment 1, allowed me to see how I can sort of see where I exist on 3 levels, from this physical being into this energetic vibrational frequency, as well as zooming out beyond all of that and seeing kind of like a big unknown picture, which sits outside of both of those different layers of existence, and being able to sort of move through them and understand how to make them all work together allows me to exist more in a reality that is starting to sort of make more sense. And let me tell you, none of this stuff is all one and done. It's all still expanding. It's all still learning. the whole idea of that one particle, of them seeing those three different layers of existence, and then being an understanding that you are just this one being, and all of this is you, and you are creating all of it based on the things that you believe, the vibration that you're holding, your energetics, whatever it is, was a whole new concept that I can choose to believe, that I can sit in and say, okay, if this is how I'm existing, how can we change? How can we exist? How can we look at things? But it's coupling that with that whole in-out principle, as well as the whole idea that we are these energetic vibrational frequencies, and that we do move through these different states of consciousness, and we're just constantly trying to find a balance between the two, from moving from this physical 3D and feeling and being and knowing and having everything that's happening around us, as well as still believing that we are part of this consciousness. We are the one, we are a one, we are a combined unit. All of this is us. And it's sort of combining those sort of three main principles together and trying to find a way where we can exist, trying to find a way that we can find that balance with who we are, so that not only can we have that connection that we want, this purity, this love version of who we are, but also to bring that into our 3D and the way that we are experiencing it as well. That's what segment 2 was all about. Then section 3 was all about the beliefs, the collectives, and the history, because going through that journey and trying to see yourself in all those different layers, every single one of those layers is then formed from these three areas. It's from the beliefs that we hold. It's from the collective thoughts that are energetically surrounding us in our existence, and from the history that we're told, from the stories that we're being made aware of, the artifacts that are physically available, the places and locations we can visit and we can experience and hear stories from. It's from those three areas that are creating all those other things that I just spoke about. They're creating our awareness or belief in these stories, or belief even in what I'm speaking to you. If every single thing I'm saying is a lie, that is because I have created that with a belief, with my own story, with my own history. So this is how we exist, is from those beliefs, is from the history, is from what is happening around us, because collectively what people are believing as well around us is what's holding everything in place around us. So working through those three things as well is what has allowed me to sort of look at those and see which ones I can find as my own truth, which ones do I believe there's a possibility, and even still believing in something or holding something as a truth, still knowing and zooming out and still holding that idea and thought that it is still all you. If you think of yourself as this one particle, but then you're looking at these beliefs and histories and going, but why are they all here? Oh, but hang on, I created it all as well. It's like this intricate web of detail where we can use all of it to help us move towards this expanded version of self, to move towards whatever we think our end goal is, whatever we think is the ultimate place to where we want to be, whether it's through religion, whether it's through spirituality. We are moving from a place where we are and trying to expand and increase our awareness and our experience around us so that it's more enjoyable for ourselves and everyone around us, and the place that we live in, to become this existence that is more enjoyable, that is more loving, not just for us, but for everyone as well, because that's the whole journey. So we're using all of these things to get us to that place. Then section 4 was all about the male, female, the desire and the love. So this is where we then hold the duality of believing in the masculine and feminine and seeing these different energies, but it's not just through that and understanding of that. You can dive as deep as you want with that, but it's also understanding the duality of everything else in our existence, of seeing the good and the bad, seeing the happy and the sad, the dark and the light, knowing and understanding that these exist and trying to find that balance within us because I really am more starting to see, instead of it seeing as, okay, well, this is dark and this is light, they're these two different opposite ends of the stick. It's now a spiral. It's the way in which we expand and grow, because you think about it, when we're in those deep throes of moments that are heavy and intense and the lowest vibrational state we're in, you know what comes from that. You know there's something amazing on the other side of that. So it's like it's a never-ending journey of these emotions that are wrapped around in the spiral motion. It's no longer going from here to here and I'm here, I want to be here, or even doing it through hierarchy where it's here, but I want to be up here, so I need to work on moving up. It's not. It's this constant expansion of us moving up and down the spiral and moving through these emotions, through these different depths. And as we sort of come down and come back up, it's this constant growth that just keeps growing. It's just like building a muscle. And with the desire is what I believe has the power to allow us to move through these things. Through all of what I was saying is using those things that we want to create, those things that we want to do, those things that we want to experience, the things that we want to have, and bringing them up from the depths of our existence, from underneath all those shadows, underneath all those layers, and allowing us to bring them all up and through, so that as we move through them, we are creating the space around us that we want it to look like. We are moving towards the things that we want to have and the things we want to experience. And through that journey is when we are really targeted with those beliefs, with those feelings, with those ideas and thoughts and everything else that is holding us back from achieving that or seeing that in our reality. That's what allows us to move through it. And all of that is wrapped through the center of our existence, which is through our heart, through love, through that, however you want to see that pure connection of who you are. And for me, it is that center, it is that heart, it is that expansion of who you are. And it's not just, oh, love and light, everything's amazing, I love you all. It's the power of that stillness, of that oneness, of that knowing, that deep connection from the heart, that feeling, the ultimate feeling of what you want to have. Because you think about all those things that you want to experience in the reality around you, whether it's a relationship, whether it's body, whether it's money, whether it's where you live, all of that stems from the feeling that you get within your body, the feeling that you have within your heart. Because everything we experience as these beings is felt through our body. Our emotions and our thoughts are what are telling us if this is a good experience or this is a bad experience. It's our recollection of memory or our beliefs that we are holding, but it's stemming from our heart. Our heart speaks to our brain. And when we're in that centered, that oneness, that nothingness, that purest state of right now in the heart, that balances everything out. That sends that information to the brain. That calms the body down. That allows us to be in that state of pure existence where we can allow those desires to come through, where we can see those beliefs and collective thoughts and ideas and allow us to look at them, to move through them, to create this high vibrational frequency so that we can bring this experience and the things we want to us around us. So what segment 5 was, the creation, evolution, and connection. This is where I was talking about us creating things to move towards those things we want. So it is a carry on from the segment before. It is a carry on from what we're speaking on. It is something that we're still sitting in. It's all about the way that we create and how we're creating the reality around us. It's all about that constant evolution, as I see it, as these spirals and this constant deepening and knowing and understanding as we're moving through these different levels of consciousness, mixed with what I created in my own way of finding a balance between the dark and light, and seeing things as luminescent codes, as these tones or frequencies of color that exist and are unique to us in each moment, based on how we're feeling, based on what our thoughts are, how we're connecting, what's happening around us, how we're reacting, all of these codes. And as we're expressing them, we're attaching to things, we're attaching to people, we're attaching to experiences, and it's all within different moments. It's all within different time, space sequences of where we're at in that moment and how we're connecting, not connecting to things, people, and experiences. So whilst that was what segment 5 is, as we move into the real segment 6, which is all about the 3D, the 5D, and the quantum, it's where we use everything that I just spoke about to allow us to tap into the idea of this 3D to 5D. And it's funny because this is a term that I used to hate talking about. I hated hearing people talking about ascension or new earth and all these sort of terms that I think because of where I was and the environment I was in, I kept hearing them so much that it just became, an eye roll, because it's like, everyone's using these words, everyone's saying this, everybody's doing that. And it just became my resistance to the way that the collective was trying to explain what this is that we're feeling. And now I don't have attachment to the words. I can say whatever word you want, and you can attach to your own words. You can create your own words. But ultimately, this is what I said. The 3D is this physical being of us. It's me right here talking to you on a computer. It's me touching my hand and believing that I am this solid being and I can feel things. And when things are happening around me, my body is feeling things. This is my 3D. This is how I'm expressing myself through this avatar, through this projection of vibration. However you want to look at it, this is me in the 3D. My journey to 5D is where I see us moving from just this understanding, moving from just this physical being, instead of just existing as this, going through the motions of life, but seeing something more, seeing something different, understanding all those other things that I spoke about, of seeing us as a vibrational frequency, as this piece of light made up of codes, existing within our own mind or our own construct in this one consciousness, or whatever beliefs you have, seeing beyond this 3D realm is what 5D is. 5D is where it takes us to a place where we cannot sometimes physically prove it. We cannot physically go, okay, I'm connecting to this being over here. Okay, prove it. Well, I can't. It was in my mind, or it was in a feeling. It was through this other different medium. We can't explain the things that happen in the 5D. We can get some inklings and synchronicities, and things will happen around us in our 3D to show that it's true, or that, here's your little tap on the back to say, yes, this is all real, this is all happening. That's what the 5D is for me. That's where we are moving from not existing that this is all that it is and this is all we can experience, but understanding there's so much more to us. There's so much bigger than us. There's so much more love and joy and compassion, and so many different ways we can experience what our life is and how it could look like and how it could feel and what we can do, and losing the attachment from judgment and understanding of what everything is, and moving more into that space of pureness and oneness, and just allowing us to be who we are without worrying about anything else. And that is the journey, how I see, from our 3D to our 5D. That's why I think we're here, and we never go from this place to this place and go, okay, one and done, look at me, I'm over here, I'm amazing, I'm in 5D. It's a constant growth. It's the spiral. It's us constantly expanding. I can tell you about this right now. Ask me again in a year and I will have a different version, a different view, a different deepening. Maybe I'll be talking about something totally different, because we're constantly expanding. We're constantly growing into different parts of us, and they'll look different. They'll be this over here, then they might be this over. And it will constantly be changing for us as we move through this, as we make choices within our 3D. So then the 3D to 5D, I don't think there should be a comparison between the two. Now I see it more of a way that we mold them together. It's not, oh, here I am doing this big 3D thing. Oh, hang on, now I'm doing this 5D thing. It's bringing them together. It's existing as this 3D with this 5D knowledge, with this confirmation verb. I hate it, people say that, they say that all the time. So it's this It's the 5D being of us, and understanding and knowing and connection and feeling and everything else within us is then mixed with this 3D being, and we're living both of those lives together. And this is then what we perceive as this quantum. This is what we perceive then of moving into these states of where these things that we had thought and believed in the 5D, which didn't exist in the 3D, now come together into this one being, which is what we look at and what we call the quantum, where things may physically not make sense, where things just change for no reason, where you can change the way you look overnight, where experiences around you that normally in a 3D being don't happen, but suddenly just change or dissipate, or different things that you see in your existence. And you hear people talk about different timelines or whatever it is, but it's just us being in that different state where sometimes the changes will be so subtle, but it's from us bringing those two things together. Sometimes they're going to be super obvious, where it looked like we had this trajectory, this thing going this way and this thing going to happen like this, and suddenly, boom, change. It's like, wait, what? And you hear about people talking about the quantum and jumping into this quantum. And to me, quantum just means something we don't really understand, because it is bridging that idea of the 3D and the 5D together. It is creating a new way of existence where we don't just tie ourselves to that old 3D way of being, where, you know, you just get up and you work, you get money, you get paid, you live your life, that's it. It's more of all this other stuff as well. We can connect to other beings, we can get information, we can create new things, we can help people do things, we can change the reality around us, we can bring things in that we want, and not by the traditional methods, not by the ways that we had always thought were the only way, but instead it opens us up to just endless possibilities where literally anything can happen. That's where I see us grow. That's how I see the 3D, 5D to the quantum is now the amalgamation of both of them, and now existing just right now, existing in this awareness and understanding that anything is possible. Anything at all, if we believe it, if we strive for it, if we move towards it, if we understand it, if we can connect within ourselves, or we can follow our own intuition, we can believe that we are these energetic beings, where we can do everything with love, where we express ourselves in the most authentic way, that every single thing is possible. And even when we are trying to create something, when we want something to happen, because we're no longer holding those judgments, because we're no longer viewing things as, oh, this is terrible, this is amazing, all we're going to have are experiences. And it's just going to be up to us and the way we react to them. How do they make us feel? How do we experience them? And it's no longer, oh my goodness, this terrible thing is happening. It's okay, here's another experience. Let's see what's on the other side of that. How is this going to expand me? How is this helping me in the existence around me? How is this moving towards the things that I am? It's no longer worrying about any of that 3D stuff that kept us stuck or kept us in this place of thinking that nothing was possible anymore, but moves us into this place where we know everything is possible. And it's all just from us. It's not from nothing external. It's not from anything around us. It's not from buying things or doing things or having things or going places. All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it is just you. It's all within you. It's all within your mind and within your body and your beliefs and the way that you can feel things, the way that you see things, the way that you want to experience everything around you, and just being in that pure state of allowance and knowing that ultimately everything is always perfect exactly as it is. And I know that sounds like such a, yeah, okay. But it is. You think about any situation that you're in, anything that's not fun, it's not enjoyable. Let me tell you, I've had a lot and a lot right now. But it's just another experience. It's only our beliefs and the way that we react to it and the way that we think about it. Even though, yes, would I prefer to be doing something other than this thing? Sure. But it's only the way that we are reacting to it that is making us feel the way that we want to react. So once we release that, once we trust in the whatever you believe in, whether it's the universe, whether it's God, whether it's source, whether it's your own soul, whatever you believe in, you just need to trust in that. You just need to allow that to come through in whatever way it wants to come through for you. The whole reason I did this foundation series was of course for me to solidify those loose foundations to my beliefs, but to also give you that opening and that permission for you to choose your own foundational beliefs, for you to choose the things that you believe in, that you hold on to. Because I don't believe there's any solidity in any way or form or in any topic. Every single topic, idea, or thought has an alternate point of view, which means then you can create your own. You can exist in a reality where you believe what you believe only because you believe it. So trust in your own power, trust in your own being. Give yourself that space and time to sit just with yourself. Take those moments, find that space, connect within the depths of who you are. Everything else will just reveal itself exactly as it needs to. And if you didn't notice, now I'm going to talk about the paintings now. So if you don't want to hear about that, you can end. Part of my journey was me opening back up to painting. This is something I used to do a long time ago, getting married, having kids. There was no time. I never had any inkling to paint. And I'm not saying I'm a painter, I'm a great artist or anything, but it was something that I did like to dabble in. And over my journey of moving through so many different things over the last few years, painting has helped me in so many ways where modalities or other ways to do things weren't working. Even when you're going through healing and you're using different tools to help you move through certain beliefs or certain ways that you're feeling, sometimes you just can't get to it. Sometimes you need to go do something else. There were so many other different things that I used in order to help me move through things, from movement to different meditations to sound to artwork to writing to using light language to drawing to creating. Painting was one of them. All of these paintings have a story and helped me move through something in the moment. Every single one of them has a profound impact on something that I was feeling, either physically, emotionally, or mentally, that I could not release through traditional methods. I could not release through my voice or through my feeling or through any of the other tools that I had or that I could use. But painting is what helped me. Painting is what allowed me to experience and to feel. And these are some of the ones that I love. There's a whole series of ones that I'll probably never look at again because they're like, it's not even a painting. But in the moment, that's what helped me move through things. And it's not just painting, it's through drawings. It's through drawing on my iPad. There were so many different ways that I used them as outlets. And eventually, when I get around to it, I'll be doing a whole section on each of these paintings and what they meant, to just sort of show you how they helped me move through different emotions and different stages, and to tell you and to allow you to use other things to help you move through things. It's not, oh, I have this money block, I better work on my money, I better try and make more money. It can be, oh, I'm feeling like this, okay, I want to scribble. Maybe I want to go make a mud castle. Maybe I want to go skip through the forest. There's so many different ways that we can work through the things that we're working on. It doesn't have to be just one way. So I tried to put paintings to represent the kind of stage I was at with the segment that I was speaking on. And that's why it's a hot mess here today. Of course, this isn't all of them. This is a few of them, but they're all symbolic. Like I even still have one over here. It's not even finished. It's funny though. I look at all the paintings and I'm like, oh, is it finished? Like, I'm not a great artist, and there's so many things I'd like to learn to get better at doing, but It's funny how when you do like a painting a year ago and a year later you look and you go, I could do that better. Should I fix that? And it's like, no, because that's how it needed to be expressed in that moment. That's how I had to use it to allow it to get me through whatever I was going through. Like the most profound one, I think, more recently was that last year, that male and female, the dark and the light, the angel and the demon, that was me working through masculine wounds. And that's very a conversation all on its own that's still evolving. But I know physically that was something that I could not express in the traditional ways, but painting it was what helped me allow those emotions or those ideas or these feelings to actually finally be seen, to surface, and to allow things to sort of happen in the experience around me to help me sort of move through where I was being stuck in the moment. So use whatever you have, and you don't even have to be good at it. Like if you want to paint. Like I don't think anyone can judge whether you're a good painter or not, because it's just an expression of you. Of course, there's paintings we can look at and go, oh my God, that's amazing. But paintings all don't have to be, oh my God, that's amazing. They're just an expression, another way for you to express yourself, just like with light language, using tones from your mouth, singing, dancing, moving around, using your hands, whatever it is, just find different ways to express yourself. Like even now, I find using the gym and doing exercise a great way for me to express. It's like, I can't do it. So you can rotate, you can move through, but these paintings are just a little other layer that I had within these segments to help you, to show you that there is another way that you can express yourself, even when you feel like you can't, or if you don't know how, you don't even know what you want to say or what you're feeling. Just try painting, drawing, just listen to your body. It'll tell you what it wants to do. Okay, that's enough about painting, but keep an eye out. It'll be on my website eventually, and I'll do a breakdown of what a lot of these meant for you. Now, normally at the end of the video, there's all these CTAs of things that are happening and things that are doing. I don't create things as much as I used to of leading into something I want to sell. I very much found that sometimes, or most of the time, let's be real, I want to express things because I want to express things. My ultimate goal is for people to listen to what I'm saying in order to help them expand to whatever their next is, whether that is to reject what I'm saying, to look and listen and go, oh, shut up. It'll help you move in one direction, or whether it does help you, whether it does give you that allowance and opening to move into whatever is your next. And I don't want to give you any sales spiels. However, there are foundational pieces. I now call it my labyrinth, the dark lumina labyrinth, because it's like these little pieces of who I am that sort of bring together the whole dark lumina. Because eventually I'll probably talk about that and how that's evolving as well, because I know I did a video about how that was created and how it came about. But I still have my book that is part of a trilogy. I have not written the other two whilst you're watching this video. They are coming, and I know they will come out exactly when they need to. That book is still available on Amazon. There's a free course on YouTube. Everything else, if you go to my website, you can look at, you can see what I'm offering and see what I'm doing. I do different things on different platforms. So obviously on YouTube, I like to talk deeper and talk more, as well as do training on some creator outlets. On TikTok, I like to express more of that connection to other realms and advice, more along those lines. So for the last month or so, I've been doing sort of more of the channeling and bringing in different ideas and concepts on channeling. And I'm going to do a full video on that, because I really want to share how I do channeling and how that sort of worked for me. But I'm not here to sell you something. I just want you to get the information that you need. If you ever want to find anything more, follow me on all the socials, because I do different things on different platforms. but my website should always somehow tie it all together. So I hope this series helped. If you have any questions about anything, like, just ask me, because I really want to answer questions. It's so much easier to answer questions. I can literally just pour out everything I want to say to you like a big bucket dump. But it's so much better when it's targeted, when someone actually asks something. You go, oh, yes, okay, here you go. Okay, that's enough rambling. I'm rambling now. Okay, thank you. No, not thank you. Goodbye. Enjoy.